Hello, hello. Hi, it's Ann Weiser Cornell. Welcome to this webinar. Lovely to be with you today. I'd like to find out who's here. Would you write in the chat where you're calling in from today? Do you see the chat is along the bottom of your screen probably? And let's just find out who's here. Melanie from Berkeley, yay. Pam is from Eureka. Anna in Seattle, yay. And if you would choose to write your chat to all panelists and attendees, you might have to make a choice there. Yeah, that's perfect. So everyone can see what you write. Charles from Colorado, hi Charles. Yota Hari from Athens, Greece. Wow, wonderful. Sarah in New Jersey. Roberta from the Netherlands. Wonderful. Noel from Orange County, California. Hi, Noel. Wonderful. Hope. And let's see. Carrie from Austin. Very nice. Who else? Go ahead and write in the chat. Now, I know if you called in by phone, you're not able to do this. Gigi from Alexandria. Yay, wonderful you're here. Sharon from Minneapolis. Yay, Sharon. Wonderful. Kelly from a very chilly northern New York. Yes, you can tell us about the kind of place you're calling from. Gail Molesky from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Hello, Gail. Yayoi from Yokohama, Japan. Wow. It's early morning, so ohayo gozaimasu. And Stephanie from Berlin. Wonderful to see you here. Great. Very nice. Thank you. I want to make sure everyone knows how to use the chat, because as we get started with our webinar, we're going to, I hope, have an interactive experience. I'd like to know from you what kinds of issues you have. Yay, Mary from Ireland. Elizabeth says hello. Leanne in Honolulu. Francie in North Los Angeles County. Wow, I'm excited. Isn't that a wonderful, varied group we have here today, and even more people. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. And by the way, I'll just mention that you can see me, but I cannot see you. Nobody can see you. And that's because we're on a webinar. So our topic today is the urge to indulge. And I'm Ann Weiser Cornell. As you may know, I'm the president and CEO of Focusing Resources. There's a recent photo where I'm looking pretty happy. I don't feel very happy right now to be with you today. I'm the co-creator of Inner Relationship Focusing. Who knows who the other creator of Inner Relationship Focusing is? That's right, Barbara McGavin. And my latest book is called Presence, a guide to transforming your most challenging emotions. So just a little bit about how to participate in this webinar. You can use the chat feature to share your responses and ask questions. And if you select panelists and all participants, then everyone on the webinar will see what you wrote. If you only want me to see what you wrote, then you just select panelists. That's me, I'm the panelist. So then at some point, if you actually want to speak and be seen, just let me know in the chat, volunteer to come up on stage, and then you and I can have a dialogue where I can actually hear and see you, and then you can go back to the group. So just think about whether you'd like to do that at some point. No, maybe nobody will, but that's, just want to make that clear that that's possible. Okay, so let's start with the urge to indulge, and I'd like to get to know you, what brought you here, and I'd like to just ask you a series of questions. And I would phrase it this way: what activity or substance is the biggest temptation for you? If you feel comfortable putting that in the chat, please do. Maybe pausing a minute to just ask yourself. And it could be an activity, right? It could be an activity like staying up late on the internet. Or it could be a substance. Potato chips are a big one for me. So just asking yourself, and also share if you like, what activity or substance is the biggest temptation for you? The thing that you, and we were talking about the urge to indulge, right? So the urge to indulge means that there's a time when there's something that you do and it feels like it's a little bit out of control. Maybe the word addiction is a little too strong, but maybe it isn't. But there's something you do that you feel, yeah, I kind of wish I didn't do that. It's a little unhealthy. It takes time away from other things. I feel like I get lost into that. And I know that there's something behind it, but once it happens, I can't really stop it. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about here. And now I'm going to see what some of the people wrote in the chat. Yeah, food and watching TV, food, especially sweets, drinking tea, food, sugar. We're getting a lot of agreement on food. Activity, cell phone. Noah writes, substance, carbs, right. And Mary Love writes, staying up at night later than feels good, right? I know what that's like, right? For me, it's like, I should go to bed and I don't move. And usually I'm in front of the TV when this, I should go to bed. No movement happens. I should go to bed. And so there's this conflict inside. Crossword puzzles, chocolate. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. Okay, I've got a few more questions for you. Let's go back here to my shared screen. And the next question is there a time of day when you are most vulnerable to the urge to indulge? Is there a time of day? Maybe it's late at night. Maybe it's late afternoon. Maybe it's, well, what time is it for you when you feel most vulnerable to the urge to indulge? I bet late at night or late afternoon, or I know those are vulnerable times for me. So let's see what people wrote. Evening. No, only when I'm awake. You're funny. And during the day. Okay, late afternoon, evening, late afternoon, early, no particular time. This is Ciara who said, sorry, I'm not pronouncing that right, I'm sure. That was the T. Yeah, no particular time. And late at night. Yeah, all right. So becoming aware, and all of us just noticing what is it for us. All right, I have a couple more questions for you. Another one is, do you ever scold yourself or shame yourself to try to control this behavior? Do thoughts go through your head? I'm lazy, I'm out of control, I'm disgusting, or do you say you to yourself? You're a pig, you're disgusting, or you, right? So do you ever treat yourself unkindly to try to control this behavior? Is that what happens? Yeah? All right. And looking now to see, absolutely, constantly. Yes, I judge myself. And Francie writes, I banish such thoughts. Yeah, so the thoughts come, but then they get banished. Yes, yes. So we can relate, huh? Very good, yeah. Disappointed, feeling out of control. Yeah, definitely. I blame myself for blaming myself. Yes, sometimes. Sometimes, yeah. If you want everyone to see what you write, choose all panelists and attendees. I'm just aware that only I can see all of these chats. So it would be nice. All right, here we go. We're going back to our questions. One more. And what do you feel is at the heart of this behavior? And do you have a sense of what's going on at the heart of it? And what I think is, as long as it's still going on and as long as we're still caught in this pattern, we probably don't know everything about what it's about. We probably don't know everything about what it's about. So, but it's a good place to start to ask ourselves, what's our best guess right now of what's at the heart of it? Avoiding pain. I keep saying I should stop, but I feel incapable of changing. Interesting, I'm incapable. Anxiety, yeah, anxiety. A sense of not deserving to be happy. Avoiding feeling. Takes up time so I don't commit to other things. Yeah, so interesting. Okay, and boredom and stress, right? Boredom is an interesting one. Yeah. Fear. And once I start, it feels like my brain takes over. Are you sure that's your brain? And I have to finish. I start, but then I have to finish the ice cream, cookies and ice cream. And there's like a child rebelling that says something like, I don't wanna miss out, in frustration. Yes. So I love how you're in touch with the kinds of things that happen, the kinds of things this feels like. And what I think has been a very useful pattern, a template or model for me to look at the urge to indulge is that there is like a rebelling child. And I'm going to use my little lamb here. There's a rebelling child that says something like, I don't want to stop, or I just want it, or I need comfort. And then there's more of a controlling or critical part. I know this guy is too cute to be a controlling part, but we'll use it anyway. A controlling part that says, you know, you're disgusting, you're out of control, you shouldn't do it, you are incapable of changing. It says things like you're incapable of changing because it wants you to be able to change. So it's kind of a funny paradox that there's parts of us that tell us we're incapable of something that they wish we would do. And these two battle each other. This one, the controlling one, this is the one that comes along later and says that was disgusting. And what's wrong with you that you don't have more self-control? You ought to be able to be more aware, more conscious, and not do those things. And this one doesn't even have to talk. It just reaches for the remote control or the cookies or the ice cream or whatever it is. And then the problem is, well, where's me in all this? I am not either of these guys. So what if this is our paradigm, that there's a part that indulges and a part that is unable to stop it, but is quite critical of it, and these two are battling each other, what needs to happen is that I show up, and I'm not either one of these. Okay, well, today we're going to see some more about how to do that. I'm going to go back to my slides here. Today we're going to discover that you can be kind to yourself, even if there's something in your behavior that you want to change. This is a huge discovery for me. I find this very important, very powerful. And really the key in many ways, because this voice that says, I know it has often says this inside me, you know, that's terrible. Don't you know better than that? What's wrong with you? It makes me feel worse. And then this other part of me doesn't at all feel like giving up its comfort food. It feels worse. So this attempt to shame or blame ourselves into changing is actually a key part of the problem. Therefore, is there a way to be kind to ourselves and still have the intention of changing our behavior? I'm going to say absolutely yes. There certainly is. We'll talk more about that. Today, we're also going to find out, yes, it works better than self-blame. And we're going to learn a powerful method for moving into a new relationship with the part of you that reaches for the cookie and the part of you that makes you feel bad for doing it. So that's what we're going to be up to today. Now, let's start by talking about feelings, because as you've noticed, there is a key component in here that's about feelings. And what's going on when the urge to indulge takes over? Probably there's some kind of unwanted feeling, like boredom, yeah, like anxiety. Can you relate? Like anger, yeah. Worry, could worry be part of it? Sadness, can I just eat something instead of feeling this sadness? Pain, including physical pain and all the suffering that arises around physical pain, like when is it ever going to stop, and why is my life so terrible, and what does it mean about me, and even discomfort, right? Pain, discomfort, there's a range there. Maybe I don't want to feel discomfort, and fill in the blank, right? Is there an unwanted feeling that's somehow a key player in this urge to indulge pattern? And yes, I would say the war over emotions is often at the heart of the urge to indulge. Now, what do I mean by the war over emotions? Well, it's a war over emotions when you not only have an emotion, but you're also trying not to feel it. Like, I don't want to feel sad. I'm tired of feeling so anxious. I wish I didn't have so much anger and resentment in me. Right? So if we have a new kind of relationship with feelings, then we wouldn't be at war. And the war over emotions goes back a long way. When you just feel and you don't fight with or run from how you feel, you have crossed over a huge barrier. So even just imagining what it would be like to feel without fighting or running from how you feel. And rather than fighting or running with how you feel, being with how you feel, being consciously present with how you feel. That's a huge step. And because the struggle not to feel is so exhausting, that it takes a lot of energy to not feel. And I believe the struggle not to feel comes from an old belief that if you allow yourself to feel what you feel, your feelings will take you over and you'll be overwhelmed, right? Might there be a part of you that believes that if you allow yourself to feel what you feel, your feelings will take you over and you'll be overwhelmed? Just pausing so you can check if there's anything like that going on for you. Now, that belief, if it's here, didn't just come from nowhere. I have often found in myself and in working with others that there was a time in your childhood, probably, when your feelings were scary or even dangerous. And what I mean by dangerous is that some people get punished for showing their feelings, their negative feelings. That means your feelings were dangerous, and or they were scary because there may have been nobody around to help you understand what you were feeling. So for a child to feel strong feelings, it's sort of like feeling, having a strong flavor. It can be too much. And who's helping us handle that? Who's helping us understand what's going on? Maybe nobody. We're lucky if somebody does. And if somebody helped us understand, wow, sweetie, you're sad. You're so sad. No wonder you're sad. Let's just sit with that. You can cry. If there wasn't anybody doing that, then you were left on your own to find a kind of way of surviving these feelings, which is where these feeling management behaviors come from. So that's how it was back then. But now you can be the big, spacious presence where your feelings can be as they are. Here's some of my pictures of, it's interesting that they all sort of look like they're meditating. And the feeling that we can get when we're meditating is the kind of feeling I'm talking about, where I am not being tossed around by my feelings. I am neither the pain nor the struggle not to feel pain. Rather, I'm able to be with that. So we're going to do a little exercise on this. And yeah, let's do a little exercise. Sounds good. This is the first of two exercises I'd like to do with you today. And this one has to do with feeling what you're feeling. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay? So I'm going to show an image of closed eyes, because most people do these kinds of exercises with their eyes closed. And inviting you to take a minute or two just to slow down and be aware of your breathing and be more and more aware of your body here and now. Feeling your body. Feeling your body supported, maybe finding the feel of your feet and what they're touching, and the lower part of your body that's touching what you're sitting on. Feeling also in the inner area of your body that includes your throat, your chest, your stomach, and your belly. And so, is there a feeling that you're having right now? And by feeling, I'm referring both to emotions and to body sensations. You could ask, how am I now? And we're especially interested in having you be aware if you're feeling something even slightly uncomfortable, uneasy, and it doesn't have to be strong. It could be something that you could easily ignore if you weren't really taking the time for it right now. And also, it could very well be something that you could not easily describe. A feeling that's subtle or strong, that you could find a word for, or not. I notice that I'm feeling a slight, and then I don't know the word for it, something. I love the word something because it lets me not find a word. Feeling a slight something in my middle, solar plexus, I guess, or stomach. It takes a little time just to tune in to what you're actually feeling right now somewhere. Could be a pain. That's fine. Let's say yes to anything you find. Whatever you find is just what we're looking for. And now that you've got it, I'd like you to practice being with it without fighting it. So was there a part of you that wanted to say, oh, I can make that go away. I could just breathe into it. But we're going to practice letting it be here. Letting it be here and simply feeling it. It's a very simple move. Basically, this is not arguing, fighting, suppressing, explaining. It's very simple, just being. Feeling it, feeling it, feeling it. And as you feel it, you could try to describe it in a way that doesn't make it go away. Mine is sort of a pressure. And then what do you notice? How is it to just be with how you feel like this? Does it feel like a relief? Does it feel challenging? Hard to do? Scary even? Well, we'll stop in a minute. But before we stop, I'd like to invite you to acknowledge what you've become aware of. Acknowledge the different things that are here. Something that wants to fight, something that wants to get out of, escape, or there's a sense of relief. I'm acknowledging that too. Just acknowledge. Good, and we are simply practicing being with something that you feel, and now thanking your body and coming back. Maybe stretch a little, let your eyes come naturally open, and when you feel ready, ask yourself, how was that for you? Can you sense how it is to simply be with what you feel? And is that different from usual? Is that different from usual, or is that something you're familiar with? This essential, very simple, powerful skill of being with how we feel. Is that something you know already? Yeah? Okay. So, who feels like telling about it in the chat? Or you could also come up on stage and tell me in person. What was it like we're going to say more, and we'll have another exercise later. So I didn't like it. Can you say more about I didn't like it? What was it about it? Was it that you didn't like the feeling? Closure in my neck is what you felt. Okay, and what was it that how was it to just be with that? Felt natural. I wanted to be with it longer. Right? Everything felt heavy. Felt just like indulging does. Oh, how interesting. So the heavy that you were with feels like the feeling from the eating. Scaring, painful tears from my eyes. Yeah, that's what you were aware of. And is it okay to just be with that? It was a fluttery balloon in my heart center, and when I was done and thanked my body, I spontaneously said, I love you, to your body. Wow, hey, that's wonderful. So that's taking what I was saying about kindness to the ultimate degree, right? This is a very loving thing to do, frankly. To be with yourself without criticism, and to be with how you feel without trying to change the feelings. It's a very loving thing to do. And our whole body responds very positively to love. And I could say to you now, love yourself. But who can do that? But this process of sensing how you feel and just staying with it without fighting it is a very loving thing to do. Mary Love writes, at first it felt like resentment, but under that I sensed helplessness, and that's when the relief came. Oh, how nice. So when you could sense what's under resentment is helplessness, then relief came. It sounds beautiful. Yeah, and thank you too for the gentle welcoming, appreciating. Yes. Hard to breathe. I felt relief when the urge to escape lifted. So there was an urge to escape, and then that lifted, and then you felt relief. Yes. So the exercise told me I usually do let the feeling be there, but only because I feel forced. Ah, okay. So it would be different to consciously choose to let the feeling be there. All right. Well, this awareness practice, to just be with how we feel, is going to be a key component of shifting our urge to indulge without trying to make it bad or wrong. Yeah, lovely. All right. So our next step in the journey has to do with what we can do in those moments when it happens, right? And you were all getting in touch with what it is you do and when during the day you're vulnerable to doing it. I found this photo online of a woman who's got an apple in one hand and a donut in the other, and she's sitting in front of the refrigerator. I wonder how that's going to turn out for her. But this is what would be great, isn't it? If in those moments when we still have a choice, because once it starts, it's very hard to stop. It's like there's a sequence that starts rolling, and that's hard to interrupt. But there's a moment before it starts where a lot more is possible. So in that moment, what would I do? Well, I would pause and breathe and feel my body contact with the ground. Let's do that right now, right? Pause, breathe, feel body contact with the ground. And believe me, there's so many times when, even though I've been doing processes like this for 45 years, there's still so many times when I've lost contact with my own breath and with the ground. So it's just really helpful to pause and come back to that again. And then I will acknowledge something in me wants something. Now, I like that phrasing, and the word something is my favorite word. I could acknowledge that something in me wants the brownie. And that's fine, I can do that. There's something in me that really wants that brownie, or that cup of tea, or that glass of wine, or to leave the TV on when Netflix rolls over to the next episode instead of turning it off and going to bed. Something in me wants that. And what if I say something in me wants something? And that allows me to sense maybe there's even more here. Maybe there's more than the obvious. And it also might be a not wanting. Not wanting to become aware, not wanting to go to bed, which means then I'll wake up in the morning and have to face some kind of tough situation maybe. So I'm pausing and I'm acknowledging that something in me wants and maybe doesn't want something right now. And then I'll also acknowledge any feelings that are here, right? Like boredom, irritation, restlessness, longing, sadness. And do in that moment some of what we just did together in the exercise. What am I sensing right now? And am I also sensing something resisting, not wanting to feel? And can I also say hello to that? Right? Can I say hello to a feeling of irritable, unhappy, grumpy, sour, just remembering some of mine from yesterday, and hello to something in me that doesn't want to feel that way. It's unpleasant. I don't like it. And this act of saying hello, or if you don't like the word hello, yes, I know you're there. Yes, I know you're there too. It's what we call acknowledging. It's a very powerful thing to do because then you become the one who is acknowledging. And then would it be okay to stay a bit longer right there with that? Okay. Oh, yes, I do want to stop because that's my recommendation for how to shift the urge to indulge in the moment it happens. And just wondering if anybody has a comment on that. It's a simple thing to do, but it isn't easy. And what I would want to recommend to you is that you appreciate yourself for each time and each minute that you can do this. And there's actually a choice point here. You might go ahead after acknowledging your feelings, after acknowledging the part of you that doesn't want to feel those feelings, you might go ahead and have the brownie. And one reason I say that is that I don't want to take sides in this inner war. I do want for your choices, and definitely I would say I want my choices, to come from the most aware place in me. So every time I increase my awareness, I make it more likely that my choices come from awareness. And I can't predetermine the outcome of those choices. Right? So Gigi writes, in the moment I'm acknowledging both parts, the one that wants to indulge, the part that doesn't, try to identify and be with the feelings. I am going to go on and, I was going to say, I was going to go on and say more about that. Well, what do you do next, in other words? Well, two things. In the moment, if you have time and inclination, you can go further. Once you've acknowledged two parts present, you could spend time with the part that has the feelings or the part that doesn't want to have the feelings. Feel it in your body. Give it the kind of non-judgmental presence that we practiced in the exercise a moment ago. And allow something to emerge from that. I have to say it very vaguely like that, because it will be different for each person. But we had somebody share in the chat. Let me just see here. Right, Mary Love. Oh, she didn't write it to everyone. She wrote, at first it felt like resentment, but under that I sensed helplessness. And that's when the relief came. So what often happens is, as you do what we did in the exercise, is you stay with what you feel with no fight, just being present for it. There are layers to it. And a deeper layer emerges. As in this case, it was resentment first, and under that was helplessness. This deeper layer often emerges, like I thought I was angry, and then I realized how sad I am. So one thing we do right there is just stay longer with that kind of presence that allows more to come if it wants to. Thank you so much. I want to go on now to talk about a longer term solution, right? So I've given you something you can do in the moment. However, in the moment is not always a great time to give ourselves company. We may be in the middle of something. It's often late at night. So if we want a longer term solution, then here's what I'd recommend. And we're going to talk about kindness. Kindness is my word today, but we can also say non-judgmental awareness or compassion or empathy. And so this would be something you could do not necessarily in the moment, but anytime, like right now. You would acknowledge the part of you that does it. There's a part of me that does it. There's a part of me that reaches for the thing, makes the other cup of tea, takes the ice cream out of the refrigerator and eats it. There's a part of me that does it. Like something in me eats junk food, something in me had my hand in the cookie box already, something in me stays up late on the internet reading about the latest political outrages. And I am saying hello to that. So that's the acknowledging of the part that does it. And notice we use the phrase something in me. Step 2, we acknowledge the part that worries about it. The part that doesn't want to feel that way or that worries about the activity. So something in me is disgusted at my eating junk food. Something in me is disappointed that I had my hand in the cookie box already. Something in me is frustrated that I stay up late on the internet reading about the latest political outrages. So acknowledging the part that has the feeling about the other one. And then I say hello to that too. So I can do that kind of process at other times, even like right now with this webinar. So we'll try this, all right? And start by taking your urge to indulge situation and say something in me. And can you put it into a phrase? Something in me stays up late. Something in me drinks too much tea. Something in me can't resist the carbs. Okay? Just say it that way. And notice what difference it makes when you say something in me I know a number of you on this call have worked with me before, and you know my language of something in me. But when we're in tough situations like this, urge to indulge situation, it's still easy to forget to use this language, and easy to forget what a difference it can make to do it. So we'll practice it together right now, okay? You fill in the blank with the action or behavior or state that the part indulges in. And now you'd say an inner hello to that part of you. Okay, so do it right now. Something in me, da 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 da, and I say hello to that. Remember when I was struggling with the urge to drink alcohol, which was an out of control behavior. If I took one glass of wine, I would end up drinking the whole bottle, 3 or 4 nights a week. I managed to become conscious that I was doing that, and Barbara McGavin was helping me try to learn how to apply focusing to this kind of thing in a new way. And that's actually where we learned many of the things I'm showing you today. And I would say, so there must be a part of me that wants to drink. And at that moment, because it was daytime and I was really disgusted with myself, I don't agree. There shouldn't be any drinking going on, but there must be a part of me that wants to drink. And it was a big deal to sit calmly and invite the part that wants to drink into a conversation. I wasn't going to drink. But that wouldn't mean that I would exile that part, because I had a very, very strong intuition that if I exiled the part of me that wants to drink, I'd find myself drinking. So these are parts of us that operate from the shadows. And that's the real reason why these attempts to control, right, to stop the behavior, right, here's our guy, the attempts to stop the behavior by telling yourself how bad and wrong it is, don't work, because maybe they push the other one up underground. Maybe they make it the bad guy. Maybe they make it the exile. But from exile, it can emerge and hijack you. So we need to stay conscious. We need to, and what I discovered was, if I invite the part that wants to drink into a conversation, into a relationship, and then I say to it, what are you wanting for me from drinking? What are you wanting for me from drinking? That's a very interesting invitation. And it takes us under the struggle. It takes us under the struggle. So that's what I mean by kindness, really, is that you are not the judge or the critic or the controller, the one who shames and blames this other part. The part that indulges can so easily become the object of being blamed and shamed. But that is a cycle that's endless. It's never ending. So why don't we pause a moment together here? We'll just take a moment together. Oops, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. There we go. We'll just take a moment together. We have about 10 more minutes, and I'm going to take the next 5 of them for this little process here. So you have something in you that does it, right? Take a moment to feel your body supported, and then make an inner invitation to the part of you that does the behavior. I want to get to know the part of me that does it. And see if you can put up a flag of truce and make your inner world a criticism-free zone. That when the part of you that does the behavior comes into awareness, you are not going to blame it. You're not even going to ask it why, because that's kind of a critique kind of question. You're just going to be with it and feel it. And feel its feelings, yeah? Feel its feelings. So I'm going to say again, the invitation is, I'd like to get to know the part of me that does it, that does it. Fill in the blank with your own sentence. I'd like to get to know the something in me that does it. And then with your awareness in your body, just wait. And notice what happens. Notice what you begin to be aware of. In this criticism-free zone. That's right. I'd like to get to know the part of me that does it. And if you find criticism, then say hello to the part of you that criticizes. But what would it be like just to make a safe space inside you for the feeling of the part that does it? We're not saying it can do it. We're saying, I'd like to know its feeling. Let's do one more minute of this. Beautiful. Okay. So hoping I made my essential point about kindness and empathy. While we still have a bit of time, I would like to hear from you. While you're deciding whether you'd like to share something, I just want to tell you how I wanted to, I really have so much more that I have to share with you about this topic, as you can maybe tell. So there is a live online course that starts in 2 weeks that meets by Zoom. It's the same time as this webinar. It's 2 hours for 3 weeks. And you will learn how to recognize when you're taken over by the urge to indulge and what to do then. That does not involve shaming or criticizing yourself. How to bring kindness and compassion to yourself, even when there's something about you that you want to change, right? This is a radical idea that we don't have to critique ourselves in order to change ourselves. And how to move into a new relationship with the part of you that reaches for the cookie, right? Whatever it is, and the part of you that makes you feel bad for doing it. How to recognize the difference between a habit and a hijack. Hijack is when it just takes you over, yeah? And how to cultivate your ability to be present to your uncomfortable emotions so you have less need to distract yourself from them. And so they themselves, the emotions and the feelings, can start to change. And we're going to meet on Zoom. There are course handouts that include 6 guided exercises, and I will take you through 6 guided exercises, longer than the ones we were able to do in this brief webinar. I'm the teacher, and you have live interactive access to me every week for questions and support, and by email between the classes. So early registration for that course is past, but I'll give you the early registration price for being on this webinar today. You just use the coupon code URGE EARLY. That's all capital letters, the word URGE and the word early with no space when you register. And we have just 1 week for that. The last day to register is January 23rd. If you go to focusingresources.com, hover your mouse over Take a Course, and then for beginners, and then the urge to indulge. That's how you'll find it. Nice. All right. So how was it for you today in the exercise we did about bringing kindness to the part of you that does it? Who wants to tell me something about that in the chat? Yeah. And or anything about today, questions, what you want me to say more about, what's been your experience of this sort of thing. Love to hear from you. What else can I say? Wow. Oh, the one who stays up late wants a freedom for me that I don't get during the day. What a wonderful discovery. Yay. Yeah, it let you know it wants a freedom that you don't get during the day. Okay, here's the next step after that. You ask it what it wants you to be able to feel from having that freedom. Yeah. Well, there's something in me that doesn't want to do these exercises, but I've enrolled in your course. All right. Well, it's always possible to not do the exercise and instead just be with something in you that doesn't want to. Yes. Yeah, there was a resistance to the exercise. You know, the thing is, these were very short exercises, and I have a feeling that there might be a place in you that maybe didn't feel completely able to let go into it because we had to do it so quickly. I have a feeling that the course exercises are going to feel safer and more comfortable for you. And I love the way you asked the part, what are you wanting for me? Hey, and you know the part that wanted to drink and be drunk? What it wanted for me? Spontaneity, being able to relax easily, being able to be creative, being able to be sensual. And then after I got those messages from it, I asked what it wanted me to feel in my body from spontaneity, relaxation, creativity, sensuality. And I started to feel a much more relaxed body, and I didn't have to drink to get it. So that's a pretty cool. Yeah. Tearfulness and tightness in the jaw, good to be with. It feels very young. Yes, exactly. Often the parts that we get in touch with that are underneath the urge to indulge are parts that are feeling young. You know, this is what I was saying when I say that the war over emotions started a long time ago. When young, I mean, they're young parts of you now because something got interrupted way back then. A need wasn't met way back then, but it can still be met now through these processes. I feel the part of me feels free to be there, given warm forgiveness. Forgiveness is another nice word. Compassion, forgiveness, warmth, kindness. Can you be kind to yourself? Beautiful. All right. So it's been lovely to be with you today. I wish you lots of self-kindness, lots of relaxation, lots of enjoyment, lots of accomplishment and satisfaction. Have fun. See you another time. Bye for now.